The only way to really vindicate all of these stories or rule them out is to bring them into an official forum, a court of law where witnesses can be cross-examined. We were trying to work it out in the spirit of nonviolence behind closed doors.
Despite harsh words in the months that followed this press conference, Dexter King was good for his word. Through mediation and negotiation, the tenets under which the King Center was founded, King and the U.S. Park Service finally reached a tentative understanding that could end their bitter feud.
Whether we agree with each other or not, we have to respect one another. And that's really what this was all about from the beginning, was respect. In good faith, we wanted to allow this to happen because there are people being affected, especially the kids.
At a meeting today with Park Service officials, both sides agreed to have the Park Service resume giving tours of the King birth home.
And Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself by being a very vigorous young person.
The free tours were the first casualty of the feud. The King Center took them over but had to charge the public in order to cover costs.
We invited the Park Service here to talk with them about how we move forward, resolving our differences, mainly the fact that we can coexist.
According to an article in the Wall Street Journal, licensing activities of Elvis brings in some $15 million yearly to the Presley estate. Dexter King, now president and CEO of the King Center, is said to have met twice recently with Presley executives seeking marketing advice.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God I'm free at last.
Very good, that's what's on me.
Vanessa Hightower is taking her sons to the King Center for King Week activities. She's worried about all the talk over dollars.
That's part of the problem, is merchandising Dr. King opposed to really bringing out what he stood for, opposed to really doing it for the community and not necessarily for the dollar.
Licensing experts say rights held by the King estate could bring up to $1 million a year. A new company, Intellectual Properties Management, is now overseeing licensing and marketing for the estate. For those interested,
if you are calling to request permission to use the name, image, likeness, words, or recorded voice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you must submit your request in writing.
Despite the changes and the feud, Dexter King is vehement about the center's motivation.
Once and for all, for the record, the King family will not make any money from the revenues earned by anything developed in the historic site. We are proposing a totally nonprofit facility. All revenues will go to operate the King Center Supporters Program and establish the King's 21st Century Fund, which will help provide housing for the homeless and other needed community projects.
The King family is said to want to build an interactive museum as a way to make sure that Dr. King's legacy is imprinted in the minds of our younger generations, to a generation which thrives on interactive technology, music, and video. The message of the dreamer will be remembered regardless. Nina Jimenez, 11 News.
Never, not even for a moment, has personal enrichment been a motive for me or my children. There have been differences of opinion about what the King Center should be doing since it was founded. But we have been faithful to our stated mission of promoting nonviolence in the struggle against poverty, racism, war, and violence.
The Atlanta Constitution's chief disappointment is that my brother and sisters and I are not our father's clones. Then please show me what other great figure in history was equaled or bettered by his children. If Jesse Jackson can't fill Martin's shoes, if Andy Young, Joe Lowry, John Lewis, and Julian Bond, Ralph Abernathy, C.T. Vivian, Jose R. Williams all rolled into one can't fill Martin's shoes, then how can anyone expect me to fill his shoes? Because of the evidence and the information that came out in Memphis, We believe that this case is over.